Hello, darlings, and welcome to Care Off Book. If you're new here, hi, I'm Care Darling, and if you're not, welcome back. Well, I don't know who wished upon a star, or maybe a well, for a live-action Snow White. Well, their wish is coming true. Mark your calendars for March 21st, 2025, because Disney's live-action remake of Snow White, just the title Snow White, is hitting the big screen. Get your popcorn ready, but keep an eye out for those poison apples. The first teaser dropped during the big D23, and while I'm definitely going to see it, I have to say the teaser raised some concerns for me. Let's start with Rachel Zegler's, who's stepping into Snow White's iconic shoes. Now, Rachel is a talented actress, and I think she's a solid choice, but I couldn't help but notice that in some of her PR, she wasn't exactly channeling the grace we remember from the animated classic. I am just going to throw it that she's young and maybe she does need a bit more PR training, because this is what she said.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
But hold on, Rachel. I mean, in the original Snow White, she was 14 years old. She lost her mom and father, and she survived an assassination attempt by her stepmother, navigated the wilds alone, and charmed a group of strangers with her kindness. Not all Disney princesses fit the same mold. Sure, we've got the quirky princesses now that they seem to be, copy and paste. But before that, we found power in the feminine, curious, and courageous princesses who stood up for themselves even against those they loved. So when Rachel Zegler seems a bit dismissive of the original Snow White, it feels like we're erasing the journey that made her a leader in the first place. I can understand why they chose now to have Snow White come out as a live action because, Disney celebrated 100 years. And what better way to celebrate it by, celebrating Snow White, their first animated movie. Now let's talk about Andrew Burnap as Jonathan, who seems to be our new prince. I'm curious to see how their story unfolds. What draws Snow White to him? Does he know she's a princess, or is he like Cinderella's prince, falling for someone he thinks is ordinary? There's so much potential here, but I will miss that iconic scene where Snow White sings into the well and the prince only his only response is to belt out, "Today." Listen, I would be scared too, okay? Gal Gadot is the evil queen. And I'm not sure about that casting. Don't get me wrong, Gal has a powerful screen presence, but I would have loved to see someone like Emmy Rossum, Idina Menzel, or Rachel Weisz in the role. Can you imagine the chills Rachel Weisz would send down her spines even before the Queen's transformation into the Hag? But hey, I'm open to seeing what Gal brings to the table, though I'm not holding my breath for a villain song after hearing her rendition of Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Now here's where things get tricky. The dwarves. Remember that still image of Snow with her dwarf pals? At first I was relieved to see that the dwarves were actually dwarves, but then I realized they weren't played by little people. Instead, they're animated. And here's where it gets frustrating. In today's cultural climate, we're so concerned with avoiding stereotypes that we've ended up erasing the very people we try to protect. There are so many talented LP actors who would have jumped at the chance to play these roles. I'm talking about actors like Martin Kleba, who voices Grumpy in this film, but instead of giving these actors a chance to shine, Disney opted for CGI Dwarfs. It's a decision that not only limits opportunities for LP actors, but also diminishes the impact of these characters on screen. Peter Dinklage, a prominent voice in the LP community, has spoken out about this. On Mark Maron's WTF podcast, he pointed out the irony of casting a Latina actress as Snow White while sticking to what he called a backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. Disney's response? They animated the dwarves and even dropped "and the 7 dwarfs" from the movie title entirely. And that's a shame because the dwarves could have added so much to the story. Imagine if we see Happy cry, Bashful finally speak up, Doc struggle with self-doubt, Dopey can surprise everyone with his cleverness, Sleepy rise to the occasion, and actually, I don't know, goes into battle. An epic battle. I don't know why I think that would be cool. Grumpy reveal his soft side, and Sneezy, well, I'm not sure what Sneezy would do, but you get the idea. Each dwarf could have had their own character arc, similar to Dorothy's friends in The Wizard of Oz. But no! Instead, we're left with CGI stand-ins that frankly look jarring next to live-action Snow White. It's one thing when the CGI is for animals like the deers or rabbits or the turtle. I'm thinking of the turtle trying to get up the stairs in the cartoon version. But when it's actual people, the effect is off-putting. The CGI even seems to extend to Snow White's costume, making it all look more plastic than magical. And then there's Gal Gadot's evil queen transformation. She mentioned how excited she was to see herself turn into a hag, with the process taking around 4 hours. But I'm worried we won't truly appreciate the craftsmanship because they'll likely slap on CGI to match the film's aesthetic. All in all, I'm left feeling a little disappointed. Disney's live-action remakes have been hit or miss, and usually it's a miss. And this one seems to be shaping up as another missed opportunity. I wish they had focused on telling the dwarf side of the story like they did with Cruella or Maleficent. We know the story of Snow White. Why not give us a fresh perspective? So, what do you think, my darlings? Are you excited for the movie? Or do you think this one won't be the fairest of them all? I'm still going to see it, hoping I'm wrong, but right now, it feels like we're getting a pig's heart instead of a happy ending. If you know, you know, you know. Alright, be sure to just subscribe for more reviews and commentary on entertainment, Disney, musicals, and performances. And until next time, take care, darling.